What's up, guys? Welcome back to your Heroclix headquarters once again. Back again for Power of the Week. Yeah, I didn't forget about it. I know it's been a lot more than a week. Sorry about that. But I thought since the last few we did were, Impervious, Hypersonic, and Perplex, back to back, I thought we might as well round out all the brown powers and just finish it off with Poison. So Poison is actually going to be the brown attack power. So if you got your handy dandy pack, we can take a quick look at what it says. So as we can see here, Poison, free. If this character hasn't moved or been placed this turn, deal 1 damage to all adjacent opposing characters. So that's pretty straightforward, but we're going to take a quick look at how to use it in action, and then we'll take a look at some of the stuff it combos well with, and some of its strengths and weaknesses. And then my favorite part, we'll take a look at some of my favorite characters that can use the power very effectively. So without further ado, let's go check it out. Alright, so here we are taking a closer look at how to use Poison first of all. So as you can see here, it is just that brown power on the attack slot. That's what gives you Poison, unless you have it from some type of special power or trait. But how to use Poison, all you have to do is, if you're already adjacent to an opposing character, you just have to give your character a free action, and then you can do 1 damage to all adjacent opposing characters. So it won't hurt your own characters, you don't have to worry about that. It will only hurt adjacent opposing characters. And it's free damage, you don't have to roll any dice for any attacks or anything like that. It's just deals a damage. Now, it is a regular damage, so if your opponent has a character with toughness or any other better type of damage reducer, then it will reduce that damage. So you do have to be careful. If your opponent has Poison and you're the kind of figure that only has super senses and shape change, or combat reflexes, or energy shield, or really any defense power that doesn't reduce the damage, like toughness, invulnerability, whatever, you're going to take that damage. There's nothing you can really do about it. It's just a free click of damage, and then that's all there is to it. Now, you can't have already been moved or placed this turn, so sadly, you can't have your friendly character use telekinesis to place you adjacent before you poison. That's not going to work. You can't have somebody with flight carry you over before you use Poison. That's not going to work either. You basically just have to move up 1 turn and then, Poison on the next turn. Or if they move up to you, maybe they didn't realize you had Poison, then you can be like, haha, I gotcha, take a Poison damage, or whatever, It's a pretty fun power. I do love any type of effects that deal damage without having to roll dice. If you don't have to risk missing an attack or them dodging it with super senses, it's always going to be super helpful. So that's one of the strengths of Poison, is that it is just free damage. You don't have to roll any dice or anything. Another one is that after doing that Poison, or before if you need to, because now you can look at the back of the cards and tell what the order might be best. But if you're already adjacent in close combat, you can make your attack, give them an action token, roll your attack, potentially hit, maybe knock them off of toughness, and then give them the free action to use Poison for that 1 extra damage that might be just enough to finish them off. Or, maybe if they have like an 18 defense, you could Poison them, maybe they drop down to a 17, and then it makes it easier for your attack to hit. Poison is really just a great power to get free damage in like that, or an extra click of damage if you timed your attacks correctly. And especially because you can be adjacent to multiple opposing characters, you can use 1 Poison can actually get off 3, 4, 5, up to 8 potential squares there of damage on opposing characters. So the more opposing characters you get yourself adjacent to, the better, because you're just going to be doing more damage for free. But like I said, some of the drawbacks to Poison are that you can't be telekinesed up adjacent, you can't be carried, you can't move, which means you also can't, use charge or hypersonic or anything like that. You have to stay still and have already been adjacent to them to use that Poison. So because of that movement and placement restriction, Poison is not really the type of power that you need to rely on in the first couple of turns. So if you have characters that have poison in the middle of their dial, sometimes that's even better, because if you get hit onto it, then you just, as soon as you start your turn, you can just be like, all right, free poison them. And your opponent might not see that coming if they weren't paying attention or weren't prepared for that. So that's why poison is actually one of the few powers that I don't usually look for on a top dial, just because it is actually so hard to kind of get into position first sometimes. And, you know, when they do have it on their first couple clicks, you know, sometimes by the time you actually get up there, they might have gotten hit off of it. So that is another drawback to poison. But it is a very cool power. So let's take a look at some of the things it combos well with. One of the things poison combos very well with is actually Outwit. We did do an Outwit Power of the Week video already. So yeah, if you use your Outwit to outwit their toughness or their damage reducer, then you can also poison them. Outwit is also a free action, so you know, you just take a free action to outwit their defense power, a free action to use poison, and then again, you can still give them an action to make an attack. Another good one to have with your poison is Plasticity. Plasticity being the dark blue movement power. If you guys don't know what Plasticity does, basically it gives your opponent a -2 to breakaway. The reason that's good is because if you have poison, of course your opponent is probably going to want to try to get away from you. So if you have Plasticity, it gives them a -2 to their breakaway, meaning it's going to be a lot harder for them to actually get away from that poison. And if they try and take an action to just move away and they get stuck there, they're not going to take another poison damage and they're just going to waste their own time. So it's going to give them more incentive to probably just attack you. But usually on like Plasticity poison type figures, that's kind of the point of them anyway, is that you want to just tie up your opponent's characters and force them to attack you, or, you know, kind of just take that free damage. And also Stealth is a really good power to combo with poison. Of course, Stealth is going to block the hindered lines of fire to your character. So if they're sitting in a bush or some hindering terrain, then it's going to mean your opponent's probably going to have to run up on you because they can't shoot you, because they can't see you. So it's going to force them to come to you, and if you're forcing them to come to you, it's going to make it a lot easier to poison them when they get there. So Stealth is also a really good power to have with poison. And the last power that I want to mention is Charge and Combat Reflexes as well. Charge, of course, being the green movement power. It doesn't exactly combo per se with the poison because, like I said, you can't move and then poison. But it does get you there, you know, charging up to them and making an attack and then being able to poison next turn makes it a little bit better than just having to waste your whole turn moving. At least you get that attack off first. Because, like I said a minute ago, that having Plasticity is good because they can't run away from you. Having something like Charge or Combat Reflexes, meaning they can't knock you back away from them either, also kind of prevents any way that they might have of separating the two of you, so you can just stay there and poison them more and more. So that's just a couple of the reasons why I like to have something like Charge with my poison. Alright, that pretty much does it for the kind of how to use and how to combo poison part. Now to take a look at some of my personal favorite characters that use poison effectively. Iron Man is not a character you would think would use poison very well, but specifically I do love the Shifting Focus Iron Mans, mainly just because they have this trait that as a free action you can choose a standard attack power printed on the card of a character with the Shifting Focus I Am Iron Man trait on your sideline, and then they can use that chosen power this turn. So since the rare one actually has poison on the last couple clicks there, the other two can choose to use that at any point in their dial. So it's pretty nice to have because, you know, this one's got the charge. Like I said, you can charge up there. And then, you know, on your next turn, you could choose his poison to poison them for free. This one is more of a ranged combat Iron Man. So a lot of times if you have a more ranged combat figure, your opponent might try to put one of their close combat figures up against you to kind of lock you down a little bit. So being able to choose poison if that happens is really nice. Yeah, there's a lot that these three can do, and having that poison option is really unexpected a lot of times and really helpful. And as for some more Avengers-related poison figures, This new Chase Thor from Captain America and the Avengers is really great. Again, because you might not think Thor would have poison, but as long as Thor has his lightning marker attached, he gets energy shield deflection, which helps keep him protected from ranged attacks, but he also gets poison and mystics, but only for close attacks. So it makes it hard for them to hit him at range, but also they don't want to be really up adjacent to him because he will have potentially that poison for free and mystics damage if they were to hit him. And he's got quite the mean dial there as well. So really like this Thor for that lightning marker while it's on him. He's got the poison. It's really cool. And then Black Widow, not exactly Natasha Black Widow. I guess technically this isn't really Avengers-y, but there are a couple really good Natasha Black Widows that have the poison power. Some of them actually let you like move the same turn and use it. But I really like this Prime Black Widow from Black Panther and the Illuminati. I really love this one's defense power. It gives her combat reflexes and then free choose an adjacent character and a standard defense power. Until your next turn, the chosen character can't use the chosen defense power, which is really nice. It gets around like Power Cosmic and Protected Outwit type of stuff. She also has like traded stealth to keep her safe as well. And then just regular poison on her dial. But being able to turn off any standard defense power like that lets her poison damage get through really easy. And, you know, having the stealth and the combat reflexes is also a good combo with the poison. And then from the new Black Widow movie, we got Widow's Recruit. She just has, you know, the standard poison there on her dial. Might be cheating a little bit. The main reason I actually really like her is specifically to bring her in with the Chase Black Widow, but also because she has this trait that whenever she starts the game, you can choose an opposing character or team ability, and whenever she uses poison, she gets to deal penetrating damage to that character or the characters with that team ability. So it's really nice to get penetrating poison, and I mean, it's good by itself, but then if you combo it with the fact that the Chase Black Widow can kind of just generate her adjacent for free, then you can do all sorts of crazy things because you can actually have that Black Widow move or be carried and then spawn this one in. And this one hasn't technically been moved or placed this turn. It's a different type of placement being placed from outside of the game. So then she can come in and just get that free poison off on a couple characters or a penetrating poison off as well. So really good poison figure right now. And we did just have a Spider-Man set come out. So some of my favorite Spider-Man family and Sinister Syndicate type characters that can use poison are actually pretty new as well. The new Hydroman from the Fantastic Four set is actually a really good character to use poison with. As you can see, he's got a special that gives him poison and smoke cloud. And when he uses smoke cloud, he generates water markers instead. And after resolutions, he can use poison at no cost and considers opposing characters occupying his water markers adjacent for poison. So that's actually really awesome because you can technically use poison twice from this. Once it's a free action and once at no cost after resolutions from using his smoke cloud. And then opposing characters occupying his water will still be considered adjacent for that as well. So a really powerful double poison figure, you know, pretty decent dial as well for the points. He does some other cool stuff for like Frightful Four teams and stuff as well. So really cool, really strong Hydroman figure there. And then we just got this new Molten Man and Spider-Man and Venom, Absolute Carnage. He does a lot of really cool stuff with poison as well. For starters, he does have poison on his attack power and super strength, and when he uses poison, he deals penetrating damage and may treat characters adjacent to his blocking terrain markers as if they were adjacent to him. And he makes blocking terrain markers whenever he makes a range attack. So it's pretty awesome. He can shoot somebody and then treat them adjacent for his poison, so he doesn't have to like move too much. Really cool. And he also starts with Plasticity and Outwit. Again, two really awesome combos for poison. And then I have here the Spider-Woman from Earth X. Main reason I like her, because like I said, I do like when characters get hit onto poison. She actually doesn't have poison until the back half of her dial there. And then her special attack power lets her use poison, but she can deal damage even if moved or placed this turn. And then she also has a trait that you can up her speed value at the beginning of your turn by rolling a d6. So she can cover a lot of ground, and then she can poison somebody for free even after moving or charging on somebody, which is really awesome. I always like to see characters that can move and then also use poison. It's a really powerful combo. And then again, I have some more Spider-Man villain kind of things. I got both carry-ons here. We got the old one from the Amazing Spider-Man set, and then the brand new one from Spider-Man and Venom Absolute Carnage. So a little bit of a side-by-side comparison. They're both really good poison figures. The old one says that Carry-On can use poison, and when he does, adjacent opposing characters less than 100 points are dealt 2 damage instead of 1, and adjacent characters 100 or more points are also given an action token. So really strong poison ability there on his attack power. And then taking a look at the new Carry-On, if you guys haven't already seen him, he also has a special attack power that gives him poison, but this time it says when Carry-On uses it and damages an opposing character, after resolutions he can deal 1 penetrating damage to each adjacent opposing character. So again, a really strong double poison effect here. As long as you deal damage to somebody, you can then also deal a penetrating damage to all adjacent opposing characters. So if you're adjacent to like 2 characters and one has toughness and one has like super senses, you damage one of them and then you get to do another damage to that one and a penetrating, essentially through the toughness to the other guy. It's really cool. I really like that extra damage. Also, this other trait that when an adjacent opposing character begins a move after resolutions, you may place Carry-On adjacent to that character. So even if they do attempt to try and break away and run away from him, you can just place him adjacent to them. So it's really nice. And pretty beefy dial there as well for only 50 points. Pretty awesome. I have to say that I think the new one is a bit of an upgrade, especially because this old one was like 135 points or 65, but way too much. This new one I think is way better. But then the next one we have here is the new Venom Groot, Venom Baby Groot. He is amazing for a lot of reasons. He makes good use of poison, however, because he does a lot of other cool stuff, but mainly this regrown from a twig and from a drop special where if he would be KO'd, instead of putting him in your KO area, you can turn him to click number 1 and put him on this card, and then if somebody else uses this call and help from the Venomverse ability, they can actually bring him back on to the map on click number 1. So he basically never dies. They do score him each time, but he can keep coming back and keep coming back. And, you can probably place him in a good spot to poison some people if you get kind of lucky. He also does free damage to opposing characters that are placed within 4 squares of him, so that's really awesome. And then he actually has a really solid dial for only 35 points there. The stealth, 11 attack, 3 damage with that poison, and the 18 toughness. It all keeps him pretty well defended. 4 range too, not bad. And tiny size also lets you carry him around and kind of drop him off wherever you might need him. So I really, really like him for poison. And he also combos well with, if you have Venom Doctor Strange from this set, because he can actually call in Venom characters from your sideline. So he also makes great use to just kind of pop in from off the map and get a poison on somebody. It's really nice. All right, just have a couple more characters to look at here. Red Skull, this new Red Skull actually from the new Avengers vs. Masters of Evil starter set. He's really good for poison, and we'll take a look at why that is. So for starters, he's got poison, but deals penetrating damage on his attack power. Penetrating poison, of course, is always great to get through the damage reducers. He also has a stop click, and then the first time each game he would be KO'd, you can instead roll a d6 and heal him equal to half the result protected pulse wave. So it's really annoying because this guy hits a stop click, he would be KO'd, but he's not. So you roll a d6, heal him up, and then you have to hit that stop click again, and then you have to hit him again. So this guy actually, 75 points for this dial. Not too bad, he's got some Indomitable there as well, 5 range. Sidestep helps keep him moving, and then he's got some Outwit there as well, just in case the penetrating poison doesn't get through something. Maybe they have Invincible. You can Outwit the Invincible and really get that poison damage in. Or just, outwit something else and get the penetrating poison. Really good figure and really, really hard to kill, so makes great use of being an annoying poison figure. But one of my actual favorite Poison figures is this old Ghost Rider from the Amazing Spider-Man set. One great thing for Poison figures that I actually failed to mention earlier is having a multi-based character that can use it. So a 2x2 peanut base like this, or if you have one of the big 4x4 base characters that can use Poison. The reason that is, of course, is just because it hits every adjacent opposing character. So if you occupy 2 bases like this, then it's going to hit here, 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 here. And it's going to hit all around him. And again, even more squares if they're even bigger than that. So it's just more surface area, more potential squares, more potential characters you could damage is always going to be great. And the main reason I actually really like this Ghost Rider so much, for one thing, he's got this cool living Hellfire chain thing where if he's got 2 action tokens, you can deal free penetrating damage. He's got Mystics, so if they hit him, he's going to deal them free penetrating damage. But I really love this Pennant Stare damage power that Ghost Rider deals penetrating damage to opposing characters that have damaged a friendly character since your last turn. And he clicks into that. So he is friendly to himself. So the cool combo with him is, you know, once you run him up in there with your charge exploit, if he takes a good hit, and then he turns and he lands on his special damage that says that all damage he does now is penetrating to opposing characters that hit somebody last turn. If they're adjacent to him, he's going to be able to do penetrating damage. He's also going to be able to do penetrating flurry. So it's really cool. He does so much like free penetrating damage to people. It's insane. And I really like that Pennant Stare combo with the Poison, and being multi-based, of course, helps with that as well. So that's going to do it for this video, actually. I did not include any DC characters or other universe characters this time because I had a lot of Marvel characters I really wanted to show. If you guys really want some DC characters, I always recommend, a lot of Joker figures and Harley Quinn figures are really good at Poison if you want some DC Poison. But honestly, I was trying not to show too many characters this time. I feel like I've been showing too many characters in more recent Power of the Week videos. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about that. If you want to see more characters, less characters, how you feel about that. I really would love to know. But yeah, thank you guys. That's going to do it for this one. Alright guys, so that's going to wrap it up for this episode. If you liked it, make sure you smash that like button for me. Let me know in the comments if you've got any questions about Poison and how to use it. I'll try and help you out and answer it there. And also be sure to let me know what powers you'd like to see in future episodes of Power of the Week, because I'd really like to know that. And as always, don't forget to click that subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. A big thank you to this month's Patreon patrons. If you'd like to become a Patreon patron and see your name here in the credits, then make sure you check out the link in the description below, where we got a lot of other awesome, cool stuff for you guys. So make sure if you'd like to help support the channel, check it out. But that's going to do it for today. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and until next time, this has been Heroclix Headquarters, signing off.